Welcome back to Chasing Dreams Homestead, y'all. Today we are going to make two different versions of fire cider. Now, my daughter Genesis here suffers from seasonal allergies and lots of sinus infections every year. So fire cider is a way to combat that, especially going into the winter. So we have adopted a recipe from our friend Carolyn Burr's YouTube channel, Homesteading Herbalist Collective. Her recipe uses elderberries and not horseradish. She does not like horseradish. I have always traditionally made it with horseradish in it, from Rosemary Gladstar's recipe, and I like horseradish. Now we will make the two different kinds, but the reason for the horseradish, just so you know, is not only does horseradish aid in the digestion, but it's also very good at warming and increasing the circulation, and as well as a great way to help relieve some of that sinus pressure. So that's the reason that I enjoy the horseradish. Are you ready? Are you filming?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for communicating.
I did. I stuck my tongue out at you.
Oh, I'm supposed to know that means you're filming. Awesome. Hey guys, so as part of our fire cider, we're making two different batches today. One batch will have the traditional horseradish in it, and I am super duper excited because this is our first year ever growing horseradish. Our friend gave us a few crowns early in the year. We planted them. They did terrific. They're dying back now because we have not had much rain at all, and it has been super hot. It did rain thankfully last night, but did you also know that the leaves of a horseradish plant are also edible? You can saute these, you can cook them like greens, or you can eat them raw in your salad. That's something new that I learned, so we're going to try some of the leaves, not the brown dead leaves obviously, but we're going to try some of the green leaves at a later date in a meal. But first we got to get our horseradish crown dug up so we have our fresh root for our fire cider. I don't want to damage too much of the plant. Just want to get some of that root out of there. There we go. Oh yeah. Get some root in there. I'm gonna get down here and get a little bit bigger piece of that root though. Oh yeah. There we go. Perfect. That's what I really want. Big old chunk like that. We'll rinse that off and get that ground graded up. We'll replant this part that loosened up, and then we'll go get our next piece of the pie. So in order to make your fire cider, you gotta gather your ingredients first. So right now we're getting a little bit of rosemary. Man, that smells so good. I love rosemary, y'all. I love it. Mama Dreams does not. I love rosemary. It's good stuff. Let's see, over here we got some oregano. Yeah, buddy. Beautiful, fresh oregano.
I don't like oregano either.
Get over here and get some of this purple basil. Lovely basil. Y'all, our gardens are a hot mess, but that doesn't change the fact that they are growing and producing for us.
Not pretty, but it's working.
Yeah, we have not had time at all to maintain these gardens, guys and girls. But that's okay, they're still giving us what we want, and that's food and herbs. So we're being overran with elderberries. We have done a lot of different things with the elderberries. Some are actually starting to fall off because they are so ripe. But we're going to also gather some elderberries for one of the fire ciders we're making, because our friend Carolyn Burr at the Herbalist Homesteader on YouTube has an elderberry fire cider recipe that we want to make. So we're going to get some elderberries and go to our next recipe ingredient. So our blackberries are going wild. We have not weeded this hill. We've not done much maintenance at all, in all honesty, because we've just been having so much fun adventuring with the kids. But we're going to get some blackberry leaves as well to put in this bad boy, because these have astringent properties and we want to use them. Get some more basil, because we really like to use it. Stuff's good for you, y'all. Now let's go make some fire ciders. So we're just going to go over the different ingredients that we have on the table that we already collected. And you guys saw us go collect those, but we're going to go over them one more time because some of the ingredients, obviously, we weren't able to grow ourselves. Like, for example, this ingredient. Genesis, can you tell me what that is? Can you smell that and tell me what it is?
Lemon zest.
That's right, lemon zest. We live in southern Indiana, y'all. We do not have lemons here. What about this one?
Wait, now everything smells like lemon zest.
Now everything smells like lemon zest. This is ginger. We could grow ginger in a pot, but we did not. So those are the ingredients that we had to source from outside the homestead. Additionally to that, we got an onion from our friend Tad Streepy at Gypsy Rain Organics. He grows everything organically, so that's what we wanted to do with that. And then in the bag, we got some nasturtium flowers that are part of Karen's recipe for the elderberry version of the fire cider. Additionally, we've got these peppers here. These are habaneros. We enjoy habaneros. They have a nice fruity flavor to them. And these were just picked off of our bush, thanks to my daughter, Sophie. So just to tell you a little bit about the back history behind the fire cider, guys. So way back when the Black Plague was running rampant and other massive epidemic plagues were hitting the world, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands of people unfortunately died from these, there was what they called the Four Thieves vinegar. And Four Thieves vinegar is a thing where there was a group of young fellows that were robbing graves, unfortunately. And when they finally got caught, they asked them how they had avoided the plague. Well, these guys were drinking a vinegar concoction that was loaded with garlic and other medicinal herbs, and it helped strengthen their immune system and keep them from contracting the plague while they were robbing graves, unfortunately, that had dead corpses that died from the plague in them. So that started the whole idea behind what evolved into fire cider. And another thing to think about is even prior to that, the Vikings used to drink a really heavy onion soup, not only for the medicinal purposes, but they also did this so if someone had, say, a stomach wound, they would have them drink a very strong onion soup, and then they would smell them. They would smell around their belly. And if they could smell the onion, then they knew that there was not a very high chance that that person was going to make it, because obviously they had tears and rips and things, and they were going to be very predisposed to getting an infection. It was a way of triaging. So we have a lot of different history going on in this table. But I'm going to get Genesis working on the first of the fire ciders. We've already taken our elderberries off the plant. And a lot of people are freaking out when you use elderberries and you don't boil them. But as our friend Karen explained, the toxicity of the elderberry comes from the seed. The seed has cyanide in it. The berry itself does not. And let me be clear that all of this stuff will get strained before we consume any of the drink. So Genesis, go ahead and pour some of those elderberries, or spoon some of them into the bottom of this one. We're doing Karen's version first. We're doing an adaptation of Karen's version of fire cider. And something else to think about as far as the fire ciders go while she's doing that, go ahead and just load it up, baby. Because elderberries are medicinal. Go ahead and put about half that jar in there. Yeah, there we go. That looks great. Now, something to think about as far as the fire ciders go is these are going to sit in these jars for about 4 weeks. After that 4 weeks, we will strain off the juice, and the juice is actually what we will consume. And this will be something that you'll take a spoonful a day, a shot glass a day, or you can even use it as a vinaigrette. Now, at that time, we will also add honey to it, and what adding honey to it does is it tames some of that bitterness. It brings the antibiotic properties of the honey to the table, but it creates what is then called an oxymel. So that is something to understand as well. You can just simply take shots of the juice once it's strained off, but for her sake, we're going to add some honey to it so it's a little bit sweeter, and so that she can tolerate taking it, because this is a natural way to heal her. Now, Genesis, you want to tell me what this is? You want to smell it? Can you smell it?
I know what it is, but...
You ought to know what it is, because you joked with your doctor the other day when the doctor asked me if I wanted to get my girls a certain vaccine, and I said, let me do a little bit more research. I thought I had read a recent story that said there have been some side effects to that, and my daughter joked and told her doctor, what?
I said, since he's not going to let her get it, then he'll just give her some rosemary to save her life.
So my daughter thinks it's comical and funny to make fun of my interest in learning all things medicinal through nature versus Big Pharma's answer to, you know, making us lifelong customers, not necessarily curing us. So Genesis has the elderberries in here. Now, one thing we're going to add that Karen did not add to hers, a blackberry leaf. Those blackberry leaves are astringent. I did not notice that Karen added any oregano. We're going to put some oregano in there. Genesis, can you put a couple spoonfuls of the lemon zest in there for me? Now, in that lemon zest, I've also already taken the liberty of squeezing the lemon juice in there too. So it's not just zest, it's also lemon juice as well. She's going to get that in there for you guys.
How much do you want in here?
Load it up. About half of that's going to go in there and half of that will go in our other version. While she's doing that, I'm going to start just pulling some of this rosemary so that it'll fit in the jar easier. I love how fragrant and floral smelling rosemary is. Mama Dreams is not a rosemary fan. Every year when I dry batches of it in the kitchen, she's just like, ah. This stuff's good for you though. Everything we are using in this has some sort of medicinal and nutritional value. And combined, although they are potent alone, combined, these dudes are going to have a synergistic effect and really help us out. You want to chop up some of that basil with your scissors and put in there? So we're going to use two different kinds of basils, y'all. The basil, we love basil.
You just want me to drop the stem?
And we're not going to put the stem in there. You can put the stem in there, but for space saving, so that we can pack as much into this jar as possible, we're going with the leaves and the flowers. So here's some purple basil. We love that purple basil. A little bit of lemon juice still on here. Beep, beep, beep. There we go. Now, while Genesis is doing that, I'm going to go ahead and prepare these lovely habaneros to go in it, because Genesis is not a pepperhead, and Genesis will die if she gets a little bit of that on her hand. Me, on the other hand, I love peppers, and there's only one pepper that I fear and wear gloves with, and that is the Carolina Reaper, y'all. That one will kick your butt. Genesis, you remember that habanero you ate at the restaurant that time for $20? That was an interesting event, wasn't it?
I didn't get my money on.
She didn't finish it. Yeah, she did not finish it.
The waitress was really nice.
Yeah, the waitress hooked her up. She brought you bread and all kinds of good stuff. All right, so right here is the ginger. You're going to put a little bit of ginger in there for me?
Half of it?
No, you just put about a third of that in there. While she's doing that, I'm going to chop this onion up. Now, this is something that I learned from Karen's channel, y'all, and I absolutely love learning. I'm like a sponge. When someone tells me something that is actually going to benefit me and my family, I pay attention. I have never known to keep the skin on the onion when you're doing this. And the skins are loaded with nutrition, and I should have thought of this because I always eat the potato skins, and I make what I call dirty mashed potatoes. So we're going to put an onion, roots and all, in there. Boom. I'm saving this other half for our other batch. These are our own garlic that we cured and raised at home. Did you say shh?
I have to smell it all.
I'm going to bust this open just to make sure. See, it's a good thing I did, because every cure doesn't take, y'all. So I'm going to bust this open. I'm not going to put every one of these in there if some of these did not cure well. And if there's a little bad spot like that, I'll cut that out, because the rest of the clove is still beneficial and is still perfectly fine to use, y'all.
Sophie loves raw garlic.
We all love garlic. It's so good for you.
I'm saying she likes raw garlic.
Yeah, it's good for you. I do too. A little fun fact about me in my youth, I was a towboater, and at that time we were pushing barges up and down the Mississippi and the Ohio, and that is the same time when the West Nile virus, this whole clove here had some issues, but that is the same time when the West Nile virus was prevalent, and they were telling us it was everywhere. So us towboaters started really consuming garlic, and I would eat it raw just like my daughter does. Now this one cured beautifully, thank you. I was going to be concerned. You can use the best practices and cure your stuff, guys and girls, but sometimes even doing it right, things will go wrong, and that's okay too. I'm leaving skins and all, following Karen's lead on that. I'm even going to take the roots and shove them down in there too. All right, so we've got everything in here except for the nasturtium flowers. Now these have dried out in the bag, and that's perfectly okay. They're still going to have the properties. Now, another reason that we don't want to leave these in here much more than 4 weeks before we strain this off, y'all, is because at the end of those 4 weeks, even pushing into 6 weeks, all of this plant material will start to break down because vinegar is a solvent. And it's going to start to break things down on us and turn it kind of mushy and mucky. So we really don't want to deal with any of that. Now, we're not going to put that cayenne in this batch because we've already got all those things in here. Now, what we will do, though, is we're going to take this spoon and push this down. And I think we can still fit some more basil in here, Genesis. Let's load it up with that basil, girl. I'll give you a nice piece to put in there. There you go. Get you some of that green. And while she's working on that, I'm going to start stripping down the basil for our next batch, guys and girls. I'm excited to do this method that Karen has introduced us to because, y'all, I've never had an elderberry fire cider. Now, we also have a simple no-boil elderberry syrup video, and I can link that in the comments, but more importantly, I'm going to link Karen's video that inspired that no-boil elderberry syrup video, because, y'all, until her video, I had no clue, because we're all taught that you've got to boil the tar out of elderberry because it's toxic. And after watching her video, it made sense to me that we don't have to boil it. Because the mechanism that's removing the toxicity is when we strain it. If we're not consuming those seeds, we're not having to deal with that toxicity. We're getting the benefits of the berry, and we're getting those exponentially higher because we didn't boil all the good stuff out of them. So that's pretty exciting to me. We're going to put a little bit more ginger in here. And like I said, everything in this concoction is medicinal and nutritional. Every bit of this is going to help us. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we're using. Apple cider vinegar, y'all, the mother. Always want the mother. Now, one thing I will say is that I've also learned another thing from Karen. When you use vinegar, you want to get it in a glass jar. You do not want it in a plastic jug. And the reason for that is the apple cider vinegar is a solvent, and this stuff right here will begin to pull the plastic, the chemicals of the plastic into it when it's stored in plastic, so you get it in glass.
Nice cap.
Yeah, that's what happens when
Addie.
children play with it and lose the cap.
Addie.
Well, there's even a SCOBY, it looks like, right in there in the top.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
that?
That's the mother.
Hmm.
It's the mother. Some people call it a SCOBY when they're doing their fermenting. Go ahead and cover this up.
Ooh, Jesus.
Let me see, let me see. It smells fragrant, though. That's the beautiful part about apple cider vinegar.
You
You got to cover it. So when you guys are making your fire cider, please understand that you have to cover all of your ingredients. I like to cover the ingredients by 1 inch or 2, okay? And she's doing that right now. Yeah, girl, get in there. Awesome. Now we'll just take our spoon and push that on down.
Ooh, I smell it over here.
Yeah. Absolutely. Perfect.
Feels like we're making a potion.
We are.
Halloween will be here before we know it.
Root doctoring, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Give that stuff a good shake. And you're going to put this right here, this beautiful concoction, somewhere dark and cool for 4 weeks. After that, we will strain it. We will add our honey to it. Show it to them, baby. Let them see this beautiful stuff. We will strain it. We will add our honey to it to make the oxymel. And then that will be something we will take a spoonful of daily. Now we're moving on to the more traditional method that I am used to. Genesis?
Yeah.
Can you chop this stuff up and put it in here for me, darling? Here's the difference, guys and girls. This is the big difference. We're doing this horseradish root. I love it. And y'all, I am over the moon excited with the fact that we grew our own horseradish to make this year instead of having to buy it. Now, if I think ahead next year, I might actually even start some ginger in a pot so that we can do our own ginger for it instead of buying it.
I definitely think we should.
You think we should, Mama Dreams?
Yes.
I'm in agreement with you. That'll be great. So We're gonna get this loaded up. Genesis is chopping everything up. And I'm gonna get all these other ingredients in here, and then we'll tell you the few additional things that this has beyond the horseradish that the other elderberry version of the fire cider did not have. Getting our lemon zest and juice in there. All right. Dylan, sir, can you bring me a dry spoon? Please and thank you, young man. Same thing as before, y'all. Garlic, cloves, skin and all. Rocking out with it. We'll check this next one, make sure it's looking great. Oh yeah. Oh, those are beauties. Man, look at the size of that clove, Mama Dreams.
Hold on.
Great googly moogly. Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm.
That makes me excited. Y'all, I've gone off the deep end. I've got seed ordered to plant, I think, roughly 1,500 to 2,000 garlic cloves for next year. It's going to be a blast.
You are crazy.
I am crazy, but we love garlic, and it is super duper good for you. And guys and girls, your stomach is like, I don't know, somebody said 70% of your immune system comes from gut health.
Yep.
Garlic really, really, really helps your gut health and is awesome. Garlic has even been called poor man's penicillin, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm squeezing some oregano in there. Now, here's a different ingredient from what Karen did. This is turmeric. Turmeric is great for inflammation, guys and girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go overboard with the turmeric because it'll really steal the show as far as the flavor goes. Get a little bit more in there. There we go. Boom.
It's a pretty color.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty color. Absolutely. And then this is cayenne pepper from our garden.
Mm-hmm.
We grew our own cayenne peppers, dehydrated them bad boys, and ground them up. Now you want something in your fire cider, keyword there, fire, that's going to heat you up. During the wintertime, our immune systems, our circulatory systems, everything get a little bit sluggish. So something like this right here, it's going to fire you up, get your ears feeling warm, get your nose feeling warm, get your insides feeling warm. Now if you're like me and you're predisposed to hypertension, stuff like this will also get you feeling a little bit hypertensive at the moment. But it's a good type of, hypertensive moment. It's not something that you need to be concerned with as far as, it's not like it's going to cause you to have a stroke or anything to that effect. It's just going to get your blood pumping, y'all, and it's going to get your blood pumping in a natural and healthy way, not some sort of stimulant or upper type way, like high doses of caffeine or anything else. So Genesis is going to go ahead and cover this one now. And y'all, we've got more vinegar in the house. We may have to get some more vinegar if this isn't enough, but you'll get the point for the video.
Look at all those colors mixing, beautiful.
Now y'all, apple cider vinegar is great for you in general. We give this stuff to our livestock in their water because we understand how good it is for you, and we also consume this stuff because of how good it is for you. We will end up having to add a little bit more apple cider vinegar to this. But what I'll do, you don't have to do this daily, but what I will do is daily I'll grab our little jars, give them a little shake, and put them right back in for that 4 weeks until we get ready to strain them. So we've got our fire ciders made. This is the one with what, Genesis?
Horseradish.
Horseradish and turmeric. You can tell by the color. And hers is the one with the elderberry. Now what we're going to do, 4 weeks, we'll strain this and we'll start to make our oxymel. Now when you make these things, please understand, there is no set measurement. You can put in however much or however little of each ingredient you want. You can play with it. You can make your own concoctions. The main thing to do here is to make a warming agent that's going to help you as an expectorant and loosen up mucus from your membranes during the winter. It's going to have ingredients in it that are going to boost your immune system and help you get through cold, flu, and every other viral season that's coming along. You know what I mean? These things are natural ways to boost our immune system and take care of our bodies. Genesis?
Yep.
What did you learn today, ma'am?
I learned that there are more natural ways to help get rid of your sinuses, and hopefully this will help me throughout the winter.
Yeah. I'm going to carry you with rosemary. And now when you go back to your pediatrician, you can say, my dad really did cure me with rosemary. Sorry, you distracted me. What was that face for?
Your daughter's yawning over there.
All right, y'all. Sorry, Mama Dreams had me distracted with the silly faces she's making behind the camera. Genesis is over here yawning.
I'm tired.
I don't know how she's tired. The little girl slept till daggum 11, y'all. Anyhow, like I was saying, we hope y'all enjoyed the video. And Karen Lynn Burr's channel is going to be linked in the comments section. She will also be at the fall homesteading meet and greet that we're hosting in Scottsburg, Indiana at the Woodman's Lodge on November 4th. She's going to come down and give a class. Y'all don't want to miss it. I'm telling you, this lady is a wealth of knowledge. She's cute as a button. Our friend calls her a fairy because she's so tiny and just full of energy. And I think the name is fitting for her. She really has some magic to her, I promise you. There's going to be many other awesome classes at this event. You don't want to miss out. There's going to be tons of fun stuff for kids to do as well. But we like to end every video by saying, until next time, y'all.
Keep dreaming.